You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of goddamn nerds. Nerds!
Glad to see you here again on the Nerds Podcast. I'm Puba and that's Pete. And we're excited to talk about what many are saying is going to be the biggest winner at the Oscars, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. That's on Netflix. If it's your first time hanging out with this formidable pair, say hello in the comments. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, followed by the bell to get notified on our latest content of shows and shorts. And now we're going to change this up a little bit compared to our previous episodes. And we're going to do this in a pardon the interrupted version where we'll have 3 minutes to talk about a topic to discuss this movie. Pete, you ready to rock?
Let's go.
Okay, so I'll ask the question and then we'll start the timer, which is already starting. Technical difficulties. But here we go. It's 2025, Pete. Was another Frankenstein movie even needed?
I don't mind it because we spoke about this before, and this is when and my example was Superman. We saw Zack Snyder. Superman had his version of Superman had a darker outfit, and as opposed to James Gunn's version of Superman, where the colors were brighter. He had the trunks. He had the red, the yellow S on the back of the cape. So it's just about people telling their version of their own story. I don't really mind that as long as it's good, as long as it's not a classic. Because there's been should they do a Back to the Future 4? Should they reboot that? There's a rumor Channing Tatum wants to reboot Ghost. So to me, certain things should be hands off. But Frankenstein has been told over the years, so I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, I think this is a classic story that can be told over and over again. It was totally different than anything that I've ever seen before. Guillermo del Toro has this thing with horror and romance and goth, and we got kind of a monster goth romantic movie. I actually enjoyed the movie. I think it was done super well. I know this was a very big budget for this film, and it was phenomenally to watch. I didn't notice, all the characters that are in here, like the cast, the money, the way everything looked. I thought it was phenomenal the way it looked. And this is one of the best interpretations of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, from what I'm understanding, from what I've read historically. And, overall, did you enjoy this movie?
Yeah, and you touched on how it looked, and that's something that he always does. Guillermo del Toro, his films look amazing. Same thing with, and I'll bring him up against Zack Snyder. He's got some classic shots from some of his movies. Watchmen, comedian getting thrown out the window. King Leonidas. This is Sparta, and then you got Batman when he's fighting Doomsday, and he does his grapple gun away from the building before the building explodes. So he did a phenomenal job. Again, the actors, like you said, but the look is always something that's good to me. That's something that I look for.
Yeah, listen, at this point in time, whatever movie he's going to do, I know it's going to be a big budget. Give the man the money. Like, again, Blade 2, one of the best sequels in the sense of a Marvel movie he does. Whatever he wants to do, Dracula, Frankenstein, werewolf, give him the budget. I'm absolutely okay with him actually doing this. I have no issues at all with another Frankenstein movie. I'm hoping he does a Dark Universe. The movie was over 2.5 hours, almost 2.5 hours long. Did it feel too long for you, Pete?
Yes. I mean, when you first turn on a movie and we want to see how long this is going to take, yeah, it's 2.5 hours. But it was the good story, two perspectives from Dr. Frankenstein, and then of course from the creature, which was cool. Again, this is a good watch. I wasn't upset that I watched it, but like you said earlier, different. Frankenstein looked completely different from what we're known to have him look like. He was just, again, but he was the same thing, assembled with human parts. So in the sense of the word, is it Frankenstein? Yeah, but not what we're used to. But 2.5 hours again, I don't mind if it's a good story and it gets, and it's nothing, no wasted time there. But nah, awesome. It was a great movie. 2.5 is probably where you're gonna get a good movie. Is gonna land at 2.5 hours.
I watch other Frankenstein movies and it felt like 5 hours. I've seen some horrible. I'm a big fan of Frankenstein. It's one of the movie posters. If you remember me talking about this, it's one of the movie posters that I had in my apartment growing up in the Bronx. My father had the classic Boris Karloff Frankenstein on the poster there, and I've seen some Frankenstein movies. I'm like, when is this gonna end? The movie was good to me. The movie felt great. I could have used more. There are so big. There are parts of the book that I remember that I wanted to kind of see more in this film, but I was tired. Like I would watch this. I think it was like I started watching this at 10:30, not realizing that this is going to end at 1 o'clock in the morning. And because I was into it and I looked at the clock, I was like, "Damn, did that go by?" It didn't feel long to me. I actually enjoyed it. Was there anything that you wanted to take out of the movie to make it shorter?
No. Again, it's kind of what you sign up for. Yeah, I'm gonna watch this movie. It's 2.5 hours long. I would not have tried to watch it at 10:30 because I definitely wouldn't have finished it. I watched it at like 6 o'clock in the evening. Of course, it gets darker now, so it's a good setting to watch a movie in. But no, it didn't feel like, oh man, I need this to end like right away. Of course, I did know it was a long movie because I saw 2.5 hours on the loading screen. But it again, I don't have a problem with it. It's a good story. It's a good movie. It kind of like you said, it just you fly through it.
Yeah, no. For me, it was like a wow movie. I loved it, every moment of it. Again, I wanted more actually. So it's kind of crazy for them to do that. And I'm the person that will watch a movie and after 30 minutes, I'm fighting my sleep, trying to stay with my old age. I know the time is going off, but I definitely want to say this. Usually, movies watch me around that time, and I not one moment that I feel that way. All these interesting questions and answers within 3 minutes. I'm enjoying this. Okay, next one. With so many adaptations of Frankenstein, and what's your favorite Frankenstein?
Never thought of this one. I did like the take in Creature Commandos. That's the most recent one we've seen. I've definitely seen one in Van Helsing. Again, and that's the more traditional Frankenstein, I guess, with the squared head at the top, the bolts in his neck. This one is definitely not the more traditional one we're used to. Like Puba said earlier, he looked like a model. He looked, he was gorgeous, But again, I'm okay with it. I'm not a traditionalist and say, well, he doesn't look like that. No, it's okay because this is his take. And this guy's legit. He's the legend, Del Toro. So yeah, let him work his magic, and let's see how he wants us to see it. So I have no issue with that. Again, probably the most recent one was Creature Commandos, was Frankenstein there.
You nailed the head on my favorite, which is the Van Helsing one, because of the way they use Frankenstein, and he was a conductor for Dracula's babies. I thought that is genius because he was made with electricity. He has the battery in him. I think it's fine. My second favorite is probably the 1931 Boris Karloff. It's classic. I love it. Him with the little girl with the flower. I absolutely enjoyed it. But the third one for me is what you mentioned, which is the Creature Commandos. Because the boys, him fighting Clayface, the way he was, I mean, they nailed it on. And we covered that show earlier this year. So if you haven't seen our feature on Creature Commandos, please go back and see that video. But yeah, no, listen, the Van Helsing one, the way he was trying to hide his height, his build, his strength, Dracula's trying to get him. That storyline alone I thought was phenomenal for Frankenstein. This is up there, and I may have to watch this a second again to see how it racks up, but could this be your favorite Frankenstein in that sense as you think about it?
Yeah, I did like the fact that he went away from the traditional look. I'm okay with that. And I know you brought up the 1930s movie, but you definitely see they're completely different. You can also see that they kind of, his height is showing. The guy Jacob Elordi is 6'5", so it kind of showed there. But I think that was a good way to kind of show, like, look, this guy's, his strength, just his body type, everything was. I love the take that he had on it. I have no issue with how he looked as opposed to the classic look.
My favorite thing about this Frankenstein is that he was like Wolverine and he could heal. That was so badass. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I never thought about that. That if Frankenstein was dead and he rejuvenates himself just like Wolverine. Damn, that was good. Our next question is: do you think that the movie was casted well?
Yeah, listen. Oscar Isaac.
Do you think the movie was casted well?
Yeah, Oscar Isaac. Again, we spoke about Jacob Elordi. He's very popular fan cast for, a lot of people are trying to fan cast Batman for the DCU. It's a very popular choice, but fun fact is that they wanted him to read for Superman that just came out. He declined it. No, thank you. I don't think he's into superhero movies. But then we got Mia Goth, who plays Elizabeth. So it absolutely, again, you got a good cast of heavy hitters here. You don't have any slouches here. Not to be nasty, but nobody that's on the CW or anything like that. Oscar Isaac right there. He's big time. So once you see his name attached to something, he's been in Star Wars. He's Moon Knight. He's got a pretty impressive resume over the years. So once you see Oscar Isaac, you kind of know what type of film you're dealing with.
Listen, Jacob Elordi, one of my favorite movies is Saltburn. I've been dying for you to watch that movie, so you absolutely know that's a good actor for me. Mia Goth as well. She was great in the Pearl series of movies. Oscar Isaac, come on, Moon Knight. Give me anything with Christopher Waltz. From Django to everything else, love Christopher Waltz. He is the man. Charles Dance, who played the father, Game of Thrones. And even the professor was Ralph Ineson, who recently played Galactus. So the cast is absolutely packed. Even David Bradley, who played the blind guy, he was also in Harry Potter as well. Bern Gorman, like the list goes on and on when it comes to this cast. Did you know that Andrew Garfield was supposed to play Frankenstein?
Yes, I saw that. I forgot the reason why. Scheduling, I think it was, right?
It was scheduling. It was the whole the strike on Hollywood as well. That definitely affected it all at the same time. But yeah, Jacob Elordi was not the first one to actually play the Frankenstein. It was supposed to be Andrew Garfield, who we also know, like his biggest role, probably Spider-Man at this point in time. And we love him as Spider-Man as well.
Eduardo Saverin, the
yes.
Facebook, the social.
Listen, yeah, they killed it. Like, phenomenal job. Whoever was the casting director, please give them an award. Okay, next question coming to you, Pete. Historically, Frankenstein is a monster movie. Would you consider this to be a monster movie? Yes,
I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. When we spoke about in the Mummy, in the Mummy, on our Mummy episode, we spoke about the Tom Cruise Mummy, and they kind of wanted to do an extended universe with their monsters: Wolfman, Dracula, of course, Frankenstein. The Mummy was the one that's supposed to start it off. So, do I think this is a monster movie? 100%. I don't think it's a horror movie, because a horror movie for me would be like, it's something that's gonna, it's gonna cause you to jump. There's gonna be some scares there. I didn't see any scares here. It was, but it is a monster movie, considering Frankenstein is technically a monster. Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm going to disagree on this one. This is the one that we're going to absolutely disagree on. I don't think at all this was a monster movie. I think this was a romantic movie. And it's far-fetched of the imagination that you can possibly think of. Guillermo del Toro does a phenomenal job of, doing this type of thing. He did this thing with the thing in the water. Forgive me, I don't know the name of the movie at the top of my head right now. But yeah, absolutely. This was more of a romance movie, a love of passion, an ideology of greater than God, trying to cheat death for the most part is what you get in this movie. I thought this was between Elizabeth and the monster, Victor Frankenstein's love for science, the love that the father had, Leopold had with his younger son, and William. That's what I saw a lot of. And did you know that Mia Goth also, in the sense of love, right? Because she had a love for Victor. She played the mom as well. She was the mother as well as Elizabeth. She played both roles, which is crazy to think of. Yeah, we just talked about the casting, of course, but I got a lot of that. I got a lot of romance. I mean, look, what did Frankenstein want at the end? He wanted a partner. That's all he wanted to make. And he was like, no, I'm not giving you a partner. You're a monster. But again, this is more of a romantic movie. And that's what I got out of it. So, a monster movie.
Wait, so you're saying this, look, this is a monster movie to me with romantic elements to it. Because, yeah, it's not just because it's a monster movie doesn't mean he has to go around killing people the entire movie. The story sets up for some type of love interest between, and remember, Dr. Frankenstein thought Elizabeth was feeling him too. And she shot that down, but of course she had a connection with the creature as how he's listed. So I can see it as a monster movie with some romantic elements to it.
I can see what you're saying with that, and Ramon, is that what it was called?
Oh, you're saying Ram? Oh, the monster. Okay, got it.
yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Okay, next question. Do you think this movie is Oscar worthy?
From what I understand, they have to kind of push for it, correct? Like, I guess the people behind the scenes, the producers, whatever, they have to kind of push for, kind of lobby for somebody to get be nominated or considered. But the performances, just by watching them, absolutely, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think this is gonna clean house. I think Jacob Elordi and Oscar Isaac will be up against each other for best male actor role. Mia Goth, I don't think that. I think she had a minimalistic, but maybe best supporting actress. Christopher Waltz killed it for me. Like, he did such a great job for me that I think he might be up there for best supporting actor. But in the sense of Oscars, yeah, I think the music was fantastic. Visually, I felt the cold. I was there. I understood what it felt like. When his leg blew off in the blast, I felt that, the cinematic portion of that as well. We have to remember that this was released in the movie theaters before it was released in Netflix. So, it had a short time there. And I'm just thinking visually it was beautiful. And, even when he couldn't say Victor, or all he said was Victor, 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 I'm a parent. And I know what it's like to sit down homework with your kid. And when they're not getting it, you get this oh, come on, you got this. You can do better than that. Those emotions drove me throughout this movie. And because it did that, I think it will be nominated for an Oscar on multiple different levels. What do you think?
Yeah, we're going back to the cast. Christoph Waltz. He's always he always delivers in whatever he's in. Like you brought up Django, Inglourious Bastards. He's in that as well, and he has an insane monologue in that movie. But and then again, when you see the director's name, and that grabs you as well as the cast, it's going to get recognition for any type of awards that they're going to be linked to. So you definitely hear the name of this movie when they're talking about people who are being considered for awards when award season comes through.
Yeah, the Academy needs to kind of pay attention to this one. So I think it will, like I said, multiple nominations when it comes to Frankenstein on Netflix to be nominated. I think it'll do very well in the Oscars. Now, do you think, Pete, that Del Toro dropped the ball by not adopting the Bride of Frankenstein arc in this movie that's actually in the book?
But, I mean, I didn't. Being that you hear about a lot of movies that they wanted them to a director's cut is longer than what we see in the theater. The theatrical cut is shorter than the director's cut. So how much longer would this movie have been, or what from this movie would have been sacrificed to trying to get that storyline into this movie? I think he kind of set it up. If there's going to be a sequel, continuation to it, I don't think he dropped the ball, though. I don't think he dropped the ball because, again, something's going to be sacrificed if he wanted to implement that into this movie. But then what is he going to have to cut out? What's going to be on the cutting room floor if we want to tell the Bride of Frankenstein story arc in this movie? And this is Frankenstein. So I think he did set it up at the end. If you see this movie, again, 2.5 hours. I thought it was a great movie visually. The acting is great, everything. But I think he did set it up at the end. I do not think he dropped the ball that he didn't implement, because then we're looking at a 3.5 hour movie, maybe.
Well, then give me 3.5 hours. I think he absolutely dropped the ball. Because, listen, The Bride of Frankenstein is a key portion of the book as well. And, one of the greatest movies as well when it comes to The Bride of Frankenstein movie. Yeah, listen, you could have recast Mia Goth all over again. When she died, I would have loved to see maybe Frankenstein try to reanimate her into The Bride of Frankenstein. I think that could have been a story arc right there. It's the one thing, and we'll go back to that answer before, of the romanticizing all of this stuff. And you have an opportunity here because even he grabbed all the things that it took to make him. He said he knew how it was all made. So he could be like, you know what? F you. You don't want to do it? I got this. I can live forever. I can work on this forever. And we could have had a Frankenstein making The Bride of Frankenstein. We could have something of that nature. Because again, this is such a great story the way it was told. And because I already said I wanted a little bit more, that yes, I understand the 2.5 hours or 3 hours. But I thought you could have plugged in something of that nature where it was there.
Well, let me ask you, the original Bride of Frankenstein, it was a separate movie, wasn't it?
It was a separate movie, yes.
So then why not do that again?
It could be. It could be. Absolutely. I definitely agree with you there. Folks, I'm going to pause this right here. I want to thank you guys for sharing this pilot program with us. I want to thank everyone who subscribed, the 500 plus that are here, subscribers. Again, please like, share, subscribe this. It's going to be a fun thing. I'm going to give you guys back 5 seconds. Pete, take us home.
We will return.
The worst episode ever.